In 1386, most of the citizens from Paris are attending a trial by combat where knights Jean and Jacques will be dueling each other under the watch of the king, Lord Pierre, Marguerite, and all their friends. As the knights ride their horses to start the combat, the beginning of the story is revealed. First comes Jean's perspective, starting in 1370 during the Caroline War. By Pierre's orders, Jean's army is supposed to hold the bridge, especially since the enemy is clearly outnumbering them. But Jean wants victory for his king and charges onward anyway as his army follows him closely. The battle is incredibly fierce and Jacques almost loses his life during it, but Jean saves him just in time and Jacques is very grateful for it. They win the fight, but not protecting the bridge costs their allies their own battles, so Pierre is furious with them and makes them return home. In 1377, Jean and Jacques swear their allegiance to Pierre after the king names him the overlord of those lands. Sometime later, Jacques visits Jean as Pierre's new debt collector. Jean doesn't have the money to pay though, so Jacques promises to speak to Pierre to see if he can understand the situation as long as Jean gives him at least a few coins. In 1380, Jean wants to go out to battle again, which Jacques disapproves of. Jean already lost his wife and son, so if he dies without an heir, all his belongings will go to Pierre. After pointing out Pierre has made Jacques his favorite, Jean explains he isn't only fighting for the sake of fighting, he also needs the money because he's broke. This time Jean's army is victorious, and when they come home, Jean gets to meet Sir Robert. He used to be allied with the enemy, but he's been pardoned and now he provides shelter and victuals for the army. Jean also meets Robert's beautiful daughter Marguerite and doesn't waste time asking for her hand in marriage. While discussing the dowry, Jean asks for it to include the prized estate of Aunus-le-Faucon, and while Robert is hesitant, he accepts. Jean and Marguerite get married in a joyful celebration, but while Jean enjoys their first night together, Marguerite is rather disappointed by it. Unfortunately, Jean doesn't get Aunus-le-Faucon in the end because Pierre buys it from Robert and gifts it to Jacques, as a thank you present for helping him with his finances. Jacques swears he didn't ask for it and it was all Pierre's idea, but Jean stays bitter and angry. This estate's